I'd like to report an issue that I'm having with WinWing regarding their flight stick, the WinWing Ursa Minor fighter joystick. Well, actually, it's not the fighter joystick that I'm referring to. It's the space version. That's the one with the angle, and it's most useful in a hands-on stick and stick arrangement for like space flight games when you want to have that feel of a throttle in your left hand. The problem that I found out about was referred to by a YouTuber named Havoc, and I'm going to link to his complete video below where he describes the problem quite well. So here's a 25-second excerpt from Havoc's report on that so that you can hear what the problem is directly from him.
There are a few downsides that you should be aware of, and the biggest one for me, and I can't stress this enough, is the issue with the damper. If you're like me and use the left stick as a throttle, you'll probably want to remove the Y-axis spring for smoother control. The problem is the damper just isn't reliable enough to hold the stick in place when the spring is removed. This means that when I try to set the throttle at a certain angle, the stick will often fall forward or backward.
So he noted a problem related to the damper, particularly that left stick when used as a throttle on its Y-axis. Specifically, when the Y-axis spring is removed, the damping mechanism adjustment screw appears insufficient to maintain enough resistance, thus causing the throttle to lose its set position. It'll drift just from its own weight. So I went to the WinWing website. I went to their support area, and I filed a report with them to try and get the necessary information from them as to whether this problem can be resolved. And I wrote, I'm seeing some users of the Ursa Minor complain of insufficient damping adjustments. Are you aware? They did get back to me, but basically it sounds to me like a bot, and I was not able to get a satisfactory answer from them. Now I'm going to scroll through this, and you can pause and read through it if you want. But I think what you're going to find is that in the end, I decided against buying this because they're not getting back to me on it. And I just don't believe for a moment that they've solved this problem. So what I ended up doing instead, because I've already ordered the right-hand stick from them, which I do think will be perfect based on all the descriptions that I've been reading, as a general joystick, for use in a flight sim, space sim. And I think that'll work fine. But I decided that for the throttle, instead of getting that, I decided on this, the Thrustmaster TWCS throttle. Now, there is a reported issue with this, and that is that sometimes some people have reported that when you slide it, it doesn't always slide smoothly. And that's because the grease that they used on the sliding mechanism is inferior. So what I ended up doing was ordering not only that, but I also ordered this synthetic damping grease lubricant, which is the recommended lubricant to use. It's far superior to the one that is used on that throttle. And there are instructions on YouTube for how to apply that. In fact, I'll link to those instructions as well for anybody interested. I do believe that that combination of the Thrustmaster throttle and the WinWing flight stick will work quite well. And so hopefully this will be the solution to my problem. Unfortunately, there's no inexpensive way to do a really effective HOSAS setup for spaceflight sims. I don't want to use any of the cheaper joysticks that have twist grips because they all will eventually wear out. Whereas the WinWing, because of the way, the kind of mechanism that they use, should function much better and last a lot longer. So I hope that this helps with any of you trying to decide whether or not to order the WinWing left-handed throttle compliant, supposedly compliant stick. Okay.